Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to be starting the second video in the series of identity, building a sense of belonging as an adoptee. This video, I'm going to cover the 6 stuck spots of adoptees. It's going to be a brief overview. If you want to learn more about it, you can learn it from the book. I'm going to post a screenshot. The book is called Beneath the Mask, Understanding Adopted Teens. The author is Debbie Riley. She is also the CEO for Center of Adoption Support and Education, also known as CASE. CASE has the adoption competency training that I am taking right now. It is free to everybody who is interested. And yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. So she identifies the 6 stuck spots of adoption. They are common areas of difficulty for many adopted individuals they will face during their developmental journey. These spots are particularly relevant to adolescents, but can also affect adults. Adoption is a lifelong process. Here are the 6 stuck spots. I'm going to go through each of them briefly. The first stuck spot is the reason for adoption. So when teens start to think about their adoption more deeply, they might think of things or ask questions like, why was I taken? Why did my parents not fight to keep me? Why did my parents mistreat me? Why did I end up in foster care? Wasn't there anyone in my family who could take me in? The second stuck spot is missing or difficult information. As teens make sense of their stories, they may push harder for detailed facts surrounding why they were adopted. Parents will need to prepare their children and help them cope with difficult and painful aspects of their stories, such as abuse, neglect, substance abuse, incarceration, and mental health issues. When there are unanswered questions about the first family, the child may develop a fantasy parent. Betty Jean Lifton also coined the term ghost kingdom. Where there is no information, people usually fill in the blanks using their imagination. This is how this comes about. So parents should resist the urge to shield their children from upsetting details about their adoption story. Rather, parents need to share details in stages to help kids understand the totality of their identities. This honesty can help children begin to realize that the separation from their birth parents is not their fault. That it could have been an act of caring for their parents to let them become part of a family better equipped to care for them. The third stuck spot is difference. The fact that children are adopted makes them feel different. Teens often want to fit in, and it affects them more, especially if they do not know anyone else around them their age who is adopted. The difference is even more evident in transracial adoptions. I know that from personal experience. They may have faced stigma of adoption in the past, but for teens and adults, it can become more of an issue. A few ways to help them are providing racial mirrors or representations of people who may match their ethnicity or race in your home through photos, books, TV shows, etc. Talk to them about race, having open dialogue about race, not running away from it or avoiding it because it's uncomfortable. Talk to them about your own cultural heritage and their cultural heritage. Learning about an adopted parent's background can help the child to feel more connected to them. I remember as a child growing up, I used to ask my dad, hey, how can I get to know you? What are some real stories about your past? I needed factual information about him to feel a connection because there's so much secrecy and misinformation, especially in closed adoptions where the information was just cut off by law. Legally, I wasn't allowed to know very much or anything about my adopted parents. So the more factual information on both sides about the birth or biological parents' first family and about the adopted parents will help build connection and identity. I will also be making a full video in the series on how to honor and support your child's race and ethnicity. In other words, a racial identity. The fourth stuck spot is identity. In the search for identity, children can ask, who am I? What do I look like? How can I figure out who I am if I don't know who I am from? So unless they're placed with siblings or have openness with first family members, they may not have anybody in their lives that look like them. This is true for me. It is horribly damaging for building a sense of identity, racial identity. It is very debilitating too. They may not have memories or pictures from their original family members. This goes back to creating a memory box from the first video where you can keep pictures and memorabilia. It's all about building that sense of belonging and sense of identity. For relative adoptions, they're more likely familial evidence about what they look like. They might have less of a trauma or hard time building an identity because they have biological family around them. The fifth suck spot is loyalty. When children who experience adoption may want to know more about their original family and search for them, they also might be afraid of hurting their adopted parents' feelings. This can cause feelings of guilt and a sense of isolation if they don't have open dialogue with their parents. It can also cause a sense of disconnection from their adopted parents if their interests are not supported and they're also misunderstood. Okay, the sixth stuck spot is permanence. Teens need affirmation that adoptive families will continue to be there for them. They need to feel support, and they need to learn to trust that you are not going to go anywhere. They may be sure of your love, but fear that parents will be taken away from them through circumstances out of their control. They may fear that an adopted parent may die, worry about financial insecurity or other circumstances that could risk the stability of their home, and they may have fears related to what happens relationally as they grow up and move out. I know, just briefly, I used to have a horrible fear of being homeless. Even when I was very, very young in my adoptive home, it was just a very deep-seated fear, I guess, from relinquishment and knowing that I was sort of abandoned for my first family, that I would be abandoned again. It's just a really deep fear that adoptees have, that, adoptees that I've spoken to, even older adoptees. All right, and that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video.